In 2025, travelers are being stopped, questioned, and even fined for medications they've carried for years. The rules have changed, and if you don't know these 13 updates, your trip could collapse before it even begins. From surprise restrictions to paperwork you didn't know you needed, the smallest mistake can mean delays, confiscations, or worse. Don't take the risk. Let's break down exactly what's new, what's critical, and how you can travel worry-free. Medication rules in 2025 aren't just about TSA anymore. They're about where you land, how you pack, and whether you can prove what you're carrying. What passes in one state or country could be banned in the next. That's why understanding these rules isn't optional, it's essential. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes you'll not only learn how to pack, but also how to avoid mistakes that ruin entire trips. And if you want more insider travel fixes before you fly, make sure to hit subscribe now. I'll keep you one step ahead of the rules so your trip runs smoother, safer, and stress-free. Let's start with the paperwork, the rules that decide whether your medications are seen as legitimate or suspicious. In 2025, this step matters more than ever, because security officers, customs officials, and even foreign governments are now asking travelers to prove exactly what they're carrying. 4 critical rules cover this category, and skipping any one of them can put you at risk. First, controlled substances. These include medications for ADHD, strong painkillers, anti-anxiety treatments, or anything classified as high risk. TSA still allows them, but here's the catch. Once you leave security, you're not done. Some states, in many countries, enforce stricter laws than the federal baseline. Travelers in 2025 have already reported being questioned on arrival simply because their prescription bottles raised red flags. To avoid that, always carry proof. The most reliable form is a signed doctor's letter or travel letter that lists the medication, dosage, and duration of use. Even better, bring a recent pharmacy printout or digital confirmation that shows it's an active prescription. Think of it like a passport for your medication. If you can't prove ownership, you could face delays, confiscation, or worse. Second, the medication travel card. It feels old-fashioned, but it's one of the simplest and most effective tools in 2025. Most large pharmacies, CVS, Walgreens, even hospital dispensaries, will print you a wallet-sized card for free. On it, you'll find your prescriptions, dosages, allergies, and your doctor's contact information. Why does this matter? Because technology fails. Phones die, apps crash, Wi-Fi disappears. A printed travel card never runs out of battery. One traveler recently said that when her phone died mid-trip, TSA accepted the card instantly and waved her through. It's not flashy, but it works, and in travel, simple solutions are often the best. Third, international restrictions. What's legal at home may be banned abroad. Japan, for example, prohibits popular ADHD medications like Adderall completely. The United Arab Emirates has zero tolerance for many anti-anxiety drugs, even common ones that seem harmless. Travelers have been detained, fined, and in some cases temporarily held for carrying pills they assumed were safe. The solution is easy, but critical. Before you fly, check the embassy website of your destination, or use the IATA Travel Health Portal. Many countries require import certificates or notarized prescriptions, and they will expect you to present these on arrival. 5 minutes of research can prevent days of chaos. And fourth, the liquids rule. SOS 311 rule says liquids must be under 3.4 ounces. But here's the exception. Prescription medications are allowed above that limit, if you can prove what they are. In 2025, TSA has tightened enforcement. Weekly pill organizers, in labeled bottles, or mystery eye drop containers are no longer accepted as self-explanatory. If your container doesn't show a pharmacy label, you'll be asked for backup proof, like a printed copy or photo of your prescription. Without it, expect delays, searches, and questions. So don't just pack your meds, pack the paperwork that proves them. These 4 paperwork rules are your foundation. Doctor's letter, travel card, international research, and proof for liquids. Think of them as the keys that open every gate between you and your destination. Ignore them, and you risk losing time, money, or access to the very medication you depend on. Get them right, and you've already cleared one of the toughest parts of traveling with medicine in 2025. Now let's move into the second cluster, security and devices. This is where presentation makes all the difference. In 2025, TSA officers are under strict instructions to flag anything that looks suspicious or out of place. But here's the truth, if your medications look organized, professional, and properly declared, you'll often be waved through without a second glance. These 4 rules will show you exactly how to make that happen. First, injectables and medical devices. Items like insulin pens, EpiPens, or biologic injectors are all allowed, but the mistake travelers make is burying them inside their bags. TSA now requires you to separate these items from the rest of your carry-on and declare them before screening. The same goes for larger medical devices like CPAP machines or portable oxygen concentrators. In 2025, officers treat these the same way they treat laptops. They must come out of the case and be screened separately. If you simply tell the officer you're carrying medically necessary injectables or equipment, they may swab them or run them through an extra scanner, but the process is fast and routine. Skip this step, and you could face a 20-minute delay while your entire bag is unpacked. Second, the private screening option. Not every traveler wants their medications or medical devices displayed in public. TSA is required, by law, to provide a private screening room if you request it. You don't need to explain why, and you don't need to justify your request. If you're carrying sensitive medications like opioid painkillers, HIV treatments, or fertility supplies, you can simply tell the officer, "I need a private screening for medical items." You'll be escorted to a small room, and a same-gender officer will handle the check discreetly. Many travelers have said this option saved them from unnecessary embarrassment and gave them peace of mind. Remember, you're entitled to this, but only if you ask. Third, smart packaging. TSA officers are trained to assess risk in seconds. If your medications look sloppy, unmarked, or improvised, expect extra questions. But if they're neatly packed, labeled, and easy to understand, the process speeds up. In 2025, TSA approved travel pouches with tamper-proof seals and even QR codes linking to digital prescriptions are available online. Clear pill cases with printed labels or Ziploc bags with your doctor's notes stapled to the outside are also effective. Presentation matters. One traveler at LAX reported being waved through immediately because his meds were packed in a transparent organizer with a doctor's note attached. The rule is simple. If it looks professional, you get professional treatment. And fourth, liquid medications. The rule hasn't changed. You can carry more than 3.4 ounces if it's medically necessary. But the enforcement has. TSA officers in 2025 are stricter about travelers forgetting to declare these liquids in advance. Whether it's prescription eye drops, liquid antibiotics, or seizure medication, you must pull it out, place it in a separate bin, and tell the officer before your bag hits the scanner. Fail to do this, and you could trigger a full baggage recheck, costing you precious time and possibly your flight. Declare first, save time later. These 4 security and device rules come down to one simple truth: presentation matters. If your medications look legitimate, organized, and properly declared, you'll pass smoothly. But if they look hidden, sloppy, or unexplained, you invite delays, questions, and extra scrutiny. Show officers you've done your part, and most of the time, they'll do theirs, quickly and without hassle. We've covered paperwork, and we've covered security. Now let's move into the third cluster, survival and safety. These rules aren't just about clearing checkpoints. They're about protecting your health when travel doesn't go as planned. Because the truth is, flights get delayed, bags get lost, and schedules get thrown off. If you rely on medication, you can't afford to gamble. These 5 rules will keep you safe no matter what happens mid-journey. Rule 1. Never put critical medications in your checked baggage. Bags get rerouted, delayed, and sometimes lost forever. And if that bag contains life-saving medication, you may not have time to replace it. A cancer patient flying from Seattle learned this the hard way. Her checked luggage was accidentally rerouted to another city, and with it went an entire week's supply of chemotherapy pills. It took 2 days for her bag to catch up with her, but those were 2 days of lost treatment she couldn't get back. The lesson is clear. If your health depends on it, it belongs in your carry-on. Always. No exceptions. Rule 2. Temperature-sensitive storage. Medications like insulin, growth hormones, or certain biologics can lose effectiveness if they're exposed to heat or fluctuating conditions. Cargo holds are not climate-controlled, and overhead bins get hotter than most travelers realize. In 2025, airlines are flying fuller planes and delays are more common, so the risk is higher than ever. The solution is to invest in a TSA-compliant cooler pouch. Brands like Frio and MedActive use gel packs or evaporative cooling systems that stay cold for hours without violating liquid rules. Some even include built-in thermometers, so officers can see at a glance that your medication is safe. Flight attendants are also familiar with these products, and if space allows, many will even store them in the cabin fridge. Don't rely on ice from the airport lounge. It melts, it leaks, and it can trigger liquid violations. Choose the right storage, and your medication will travel as safely as you do. Rule 3. Time zone shifts. Crossing multiple time zones can throw off your medication schedule without you even realizing it. A traveler flying from New York to Rome discovered this when he missed a critical blood pressure dose, simply because he adjusted to local time instead of following his regular dosing schedule. In 2025, travel health apps like MedTimer and PillPack Travel Mode have solved this problem. They sync your medication reminders with your flight plan and automatically adjust for the time zone you're entering. Best of all, they work offline, which means you'll still get reminders when you're midair without Wi-Fi. For medications where timing is essential, from blood pressure pills to anti-rejection drugs, this feature can be life-saving. Before your trip, set your schedule in the app, and let technology keep you on track. Rule 4. Always bring extra. Delays, cancellations, and strikes still happen in 2025, and you can't rely on refills abroad. A woman flying from Atlanta to Toronto learned this the hard way. A storm stranded her overnight, and she ran out of heart medication on her last dose. Her pharmacy couldn't ship internationally, and her doctor couldn't authorize a prescription in Canada. She was forced to visit an emergency clinic, and the replacement cost her $300. Avoid this nightmare. The standard advice is to carry at least 2 to 3 extra days' worth of medication beyond your trip length. Even if you're traveling for a short weekend, carry enough for 5 days. It's not wasted space, it's insurance against the unexpected. And Rule 5. TSA Cares. This is one of the best-kept secrets in travel. TSA Cares is a free program for travelers with medical needs. If you call or fill out the online form at least 72 hours before your flight, you'll be assigned an assistant who guides you through the screening process. That means fewer surprises, less stress, and a smoother experience from start to finish. Parents traveling with children who have medical conditions often find this invaluable. Seniors or those carrying complex medical devices also benefit. To request it, simply visit the TSA website, fill out the form, or call their dedicated number. The process costs nothing, but the peace of mind is priceless. These 5 survival and safety rules are the difference between smooth sailing and a medical emergency mid-trip. Carry your critical meds with you, protect them from temperature swings, keep your schedule aligned across time zones, pack extras for delays, and use TSA Cares if you need support. Remember, this cluster isn't about security slowing you down. It's about protecting your health while you travel. Because in the end, nothing matters more than arriving safely, with your treatment intact. Before we wrap up, let me leave you with a few bonus hacks and pro tips. First, organize your medications in a clear, separate pouch. One grab, one glance, and you're through security faster, with no fumbling. Second, always back up your documents 3 ways: a printed copy, a photo on your phone, and a secure digital version in the cloud. If one fails, the other 2 save you. And third, don't rely on airport Wi-Fi for your health apps. The moment you need it most, the signal usually disappears. Choose apps that work offline, so your reminders and records stay with you, no matter where you are in the world. Let's lock it in. Paperwork ready, doctor's letters, labels, and travel cards. Critical meds? Always in your carry-on. Injectables and devices? Declare them up front. Temperature-sensitive drugs? Keep them cool with TSA-approved pouches. Crossing time zones? Adjust your schedule before you fly. And never forget, always pack extra. That's the formula for beating the 2025 medication rules and traveling with confidence. These rules protect your health and your trip. Don't gamble at security. Kindly subscribe now to see more about TSA rules.